Hey everybody, and welcome to another video tutorial brought to you by TheMindCrafters. This is CaptainJack, and today we're going to be talking about enchanting. This is going to be a two-part series. The first part is going to show us the enchanting methods that there are, how do you enchant stuff, what ways you can do it in, and the second part is going to be an overview about what each of the enchantments actually does and how it modifies your weapon, tool, or armor. So the first thing we're going to start with is this enchanting table. Now there's three different ways that you can enchant your weapons or items, and this is probably the most well-known of them all. This is your basic enchanting table, and for this, all you have to do is basically put in your weapon, armor, you name it, and it'll give you a choice between three different enchants. They're all random. You never know what these mean. I don't think these are decipherable. Where you just put your weapon or armor in there, and whichever enchant you want based on your level, that's shown down here. I'm only level 2, but I am in creative mode, so I can show you guys how this works. You just select whatever level enchant that you want. It's a maximum of level 1 through 30, and I'm going to pick the level 30 enchant. Now you'll notice this diamond sword is not enchanted at all, so if I click on the level 30 enchant, I'm going to get Smite, Disjunction, and Fire Aspect. Now there's all different levels of each one of these enchants, and again I'm going to go over those in the next part of this video and what they do. But this is just one of the ways to enchant your things. Now you can throw in a piece of armor in here, and if you do that, it's going to throw on random enchants. I actually got this out of an enchantment table. It's got Knockback, Looting, Vorpal, Fire Aspect, and Bane of Arthropods on it. Sometimes you get really lucky. Sometimes it only puts one single enchant on there, and you're not so lucky. There, I got 2 of them. But this is the enchanting table. Again, most people are familiar with this. In order to make this work and in order to be able to get level 30 enchants out of this table, you're going to want to surround it by 15 bookshelves. Now they don't actually have to be in this pattern. You can put a bookshelf up here and take away one of these, and it's still going to give you these level 30 enchants. But if I take that bookshelf away, you're going to notice that it drops by 2. And I found that each bookshelf adds about 2 levels of enchantment to your items, give or take. Sometimes it's not an even number. I'm not sure why, but there we've lost 2 bookshelves, and we're down to by 4 points. So if we put these bookshelves back in, we're back up to level 30 enchants. So again, these are random. It's not necessarily the most ideal way to enchant your items because experience points are valuable, and you want to get the most out of them. So this is the enchanting table. The next item is the anvil. Now this is a Tekkit Lite tutorial, so you may see items in this tutorial that are not in Tekkit Classic or that you don't recognize. This is going to be one of them, and actually the third way of enchanting is another way to enchant that's not in Tekkit Classic. So just an FYI in case you see something that you don't notice. But the anvil is a really cool addition to Tekkit, and basically what this allows you to do is rename, repair, and enchant your weapons or armor. And if I put something in here, it's going to ask me for a name. You can keep it however its default it is, or you can change it to the Sword of Awesome. And that's going to actually incur a cost on you, which again, enchantment points are valuable, levels are valuable, and levels are obtained through, you can kill an ender dragon and get a ton of levels, you can mine and get a ton of levels, and you can just do the standard killing of mobs to get levels. So this is not something you really want to start blowing points on early in the game, but again, it does incur a cost. So I got nothing out of this, I just have a different name. It doesn't do anything special, and when it runs out of durability, it's going to be gone. So the next thing I said is we're going to be able to repair items with this. And if I grab some diamonds out of here and put this little slightly broken sword in here, I can put that in here, and that's a lot of enchantment costs since there's so many enchants on here. But it will enchant it back to full. As you can see, it has no durability anymore, and that's not going to cost nearly as much if you don't have any enchants on your weapons or tools or armor at all, or if you don't have it renamed. So that's another cool thing you can do with the anvil. The other thing you can do is you can actually put enchantment books inside of this anvil, and you can enchant items from the books that you have. Now I'm going to take a few of these out of here. I'll show you that way to enchant in a second. And what you can do here is, I have a book. This one has protection and power. This one has Vorpal, fire protection, and aqua affinity. And this one has projectile protection and disjunction. And you can take these books, combine with a weapon or piece of armor, and depending on which, nope, hold on, let me just get out of creative mode because that's not right. Depending on which enchants are in the book, it's only going to apply the applicable enchants to this thing. So you see how there's protection and power on here. It's not going to actually apply the protection enchant because it's just not applicable to a bow. It provides no useful benefits on a bow. The only thing you can use is the power. So it's going to weed out all the enchants that you don't need, and it's going to only apply the one that you do. Now this says it's too much for me because I have no level, but if I were to go back into creative mode, I would be able to enchant this with power, and I would lose that book. Some of these, like Vorpal, Fire Protection, and Aqua Affinity, the Fire Protection and Aqua Affinity are going to be useful on armor. So if I put in a piece of armor in here, those should both be applied. Now there's too much on there already, so I can't do that. But yeah, so this is only going to put on applicable enchants to your weapons or armor. So the bow is the most obvious one. Power is a bow enchant, protection is not, and we're going to get only the power out of here. So the anvil is another really cool way to rename your items, repair them, and add individual enchants from books you find either in dungeons or books you create via the third method of enchanting. Now, one thing people may not know about the anvils is that you can create traps with them. If I place this anvil up here, it's going to fall down and you can squish somebody like in Looney Tunes. So if you maybe set up a piston or something and hook it up to a doorway, this will drop onto somebody and do a lot of damage, I think. I've never actually been hit with an anvil. I'm not sure anyone knows how to do that in the server. But there you go. It's another cool use of the anvil. So the third method of enchanting is this here, and this is the auto enchanter. That's the name of the block. And the auto enchanter is going to require power. And right now I have it hooked up to a phased conductive pipe and gold conductive pipe, and it's getting power from some solar panels over there. What this thing will do will allow you to put a book, and you can see here's one here, I already have one, is to put a blank book in the top, and it's going to start using power, a lot of power, and it's going to start using this green stuff here called mob essence. And mob essence is basically that little green stuff that drops off of monsters or when you mine, just looks like that. You can make a setup, which Ingram has a tutorial out there to farm mob essence and store it so you can use it to auto enchant things. And this is the best way to enchant because you can pick and choose what you want. These are 3 books that I've gotten from this auto enchanter already. I've thrown books in there, and it takes a while to raise up to the top. This green bar tells me how far along it is. I can do a maximum of up to a level 30 enchant, and I can go up and down and select what type of enchant I want. And as you'll notice, the higher the enchant, the longer it takes to do, and the more mob essence it uses. So if I just leave this here, it's going to create a book. It's going to create an enchantment book. And when it's done, it's going to throw it down in this bottom box like you just saw. And these, again, these will just provide random enchants on books that you can pick and choose what you want. You can throw these on armor, your bow, tool, weapon, whatever it applies to. And this is it. This is the auto enchanter. Again, this thing does need power. It does need this green stuff called mob essence. And that's what it does. This is a really useful way to enchant things. Alright, so that's basically it. We have 3 different methods. Again, we have the basic enchantment table. We have the anvil, which allows us to rename, repair, and add on specific enchants using books that we have to our weapons or armor. And we have this auto enchanter back here. And you can see that in action on our Tekkit Lite server walkthrough. We got a bunch of these. And we are getting all of our mob essence from animals. We have an animal farm, and every time one grows up, we kill it. So that's how we get our mob essence there. So this is it. I hope this helps provide a little insight into how you can enchant. And then in the next video, I'm going to show you why enchanting is useful and what kind of benefits this gives you. When we started out on our Tekkit Lite server, we were constantly under siege by slime. Creepers are blowing everything up. You saw holes everywhere. It would have been really useful to have a little bit of knowledge of enchanting back then, but unfortunately we didn't have it until later on, but it still helped us out. So stay tuned, watch for part 2, and always stay poised.